In the year 2024, I'm going to be starting my presidential campaign. The only place that might be suitable for me is an asylum. I can't take it. I can't take it. Listen to me! Listen to me! Hey. You need to listen to me rather than you guys bitches, mother. Aaliyah and she. I want Grace, Dad. I want Grace. I am sorry for threatening to murder Grace Vanderwall in a text message. I want Grace, Dad. I want Grace, Dad. This is for her. This is for her because she's been behind all the manipulation ever since the beginning. Put hands on you, bitch!
This is Daniel Larson, one of TikTok's most infamous LolCows, whose internet meltdowns, let's just say, are his peculiar appearance and mannerisms have earned him the title of TikTok's most infamous LolCow, but Daniel's life is not without mystery, intrigue, and more of his fair shares of prison time. But who is Daniel Larson, and where did he come from? 1998, Denver, Colorado. A child named Daniel took his first steps in life, but his childhood was rather unfortunate as he was abused by his parents, specifically his mother, which resulted in him being taken away from them and living with his grandmother, Nancy Larson, being raised by her throughout his adolescence. During his childhood, he was found to be on the autism spectrum, as well as showing signs of bipolar disorder and ADHD. Daniel spent his high school years at Sobetsky Academy, located in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Sobetsky was an academy which specialized in providing extra support to people with extra needs, giving Daniel the extra help he deserved. Looking further into the school, it seemed that the school was a decent school and Larson did graduate. However, Daniel's life took a dark turn on the 24th of July 2019 as Nancy Larson, Daniel's grandmother and his primary caretaker, passed away from cancer, forcing Daniel to seek care from other people such as his friend Robert Bob Proctor. And the two had initially met through a buddy reading program, but this didn't last for too long, and this unfortunate event can be seen as the trigger to the online tale of Daniel Larson.
Scream at her. She's a bitch. Please message me. You, Andrew. You. I need to go to the mental hospital.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be investigating one of TikTok's most infamous LolCows. And this video is potentially a one-off multiple part series on when I investigate LolCows, depending on how this video does. So please make sure to give me more names of different LolCows so I can investigate them for you. And thank you guys so much for watching the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye. Late 2019, early 2020, Daniel would start to post on TikTok. The first known evidence of his original videos relays that he started in March of 2020. However, Larson didn't grow a following on the app until late 2020, where he would start to gain traction on his TikTok account at Daniel Larson Fans. He would post his songs and make several announcements. At this time, Daniel considered himself to be a model and a celebrity, often saying that he made record deals and announcing new albums, despite no evidence of any of his music and his record deals being shown. His first video to officially put him on the map was a video of him wishing his fans good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you all for your support.
After he held a Zoom live stream for all his fans, and as you can expect, these calls were a lot. Daniel grew even more as he posted videos about the early 2020 BLM riots, which he thought were being led by his fans. This then triggered one of his most popular arcs, running for president.
When you're sitting at home all day long, doing nothing, and you feel like the world is crashing in on you, and you sit there and just go, what? Did I do that? Then this is a commercial for you. We, the people, need to stand strong with open hearts. Come together as one. Create peace in this world. And that's how We, the people, will get stuff done. No more mass destruction. Peace. Peace for eternity. Peace for all. This is Daniel Larson for President 2024. Save mankind.
Daniel announced on the 14th of July 2020 during the 2020 presidential election that he would be running for president of the United States. This led to the creation of the term SEAL, meaning care, empathize, elect Larson. He never expressed which party he belonged to or what kind of policies he would instill as president. However, he did have some very odd opinions, like to lower the age of consent in America, which is 16 in most states, securing the American borders from attacks, and making trolling illegal. It is currently 2024 and there's still no word about his campaign. And if I was an American, I would definitely vote Daniel Larson. Daniel's claim resulted in a lot of trolling, with people pretending to be political parties, record labels, attempting to contact Daniel. These people were known as managers, which is a term that describes people or groups through trolling who have significant power over Daniel's actions and seek to influence Daniel under the guise of being a legitimate manager or a managing company. And a lot of his crazy activities have actually been caused by his quote managers. These managers even went as far as to pose as record labels, inviting him to Zoom meetings and Discord calls to troll him. They would offer him things and in return he had to do some weird shit for everyone to laugh at. Throughout his time on TikTok, Daniel has been accused of being a predator, with his obsession with Vanderwall and his questionable comments on his TikTok account. However, in November of 2020, Daniel had his Pinterest account leaked by a troll by the name of Flexburger. His Pinterest account contained multiple albums filled with images of children, maps of the USA, and lists of consent laws for all the states in the USA. These leaks quickly went viral. Soon after the leaks, Daniel would post a response, and can you guess what his response would be? He posted an apology video confessing to everything and saying he used these pictures to beat his meat a long time ago.
The Reddit is going to go nuts over this, and I'm probably going to get reported and all of this crazy stuff. But before we even talk about reporting me to the police or FBI or anything like that, I need to explain something real quick about this. Yes, the Pinterest was mine. And yes, I actually followed all of those pictures and stuff of, like, children.
In the past, I used to use pictures of girls and masturbate to them.
Admitting this is crazy, but then he later retracted his apology and deleted his Pinterest account, claiming the media blew up the situation. He also later spoke about this in 2023, where he claimed he created a Pinterest to go viral, so Daniel Larson could really be a marketing genius.
I created the Pinterest as a way to go viral.
The Pinterest is a way, like, sorry, could you explain?
But why would you want to go viral for something as disgusting as that? And as you expect, the Larson hate train was in full course, so he actually started deleting his older videos and disabling comments, even removing some of his old videos of Grace Vanderwall. But who is Grace Vanderwall and how does she fit into the Daniel Larson saga? But it seemed the heat was too much for old Danny boy, so he quit. Yeah, it's over, that's it. That is the Daniel Larson story. Thank you guys for watching the video. Psych, he came back. Like every other LolCow on the internet, they can't get enough of the attention they get on the internet, negative or positive. On Daniel's return, he decided to go to war with Flexburger, but he somehow fell for another one of Flexburger's schemes. Flexburger pretended to be a person called Josh and somehow convinced Daniel to flash his no-no parts on TikTok Live to over 500 people, resulting in a permaban. But like every LolCow, they yearn for the attention of their supposed fans, so he made an alt account, so they also got taken down quite quickly. So Danny boy went to YouTube and other shitty apps to post content, and I say content loosely. And in between this period, Daniel also had another arc, the fog arc. The fog arc refers to a period of time in 2021 where videos Daniel recorded would have a blurry fog-like effect placed over it due to him putting tape over his cameras. The first known video of the fog is from November 15th, 2020, and in the following months it would would disappear and reappear. Some of his videos got so severe that Daniel was no longer visible in some of the videos. The comments under these videos often said, "The fog is coming," referring to a TikTok meme where users warned each other of a vague, Lovecraftian and threatening fog. Daniel has never responded to any of these comments, probably never knowing what these comments were referring to, and probably just, I don't know, thinking they were supporting him and worshipping him. Who is Grace Vanderwall, and how does she fit into the Daniel Larson saga? Grace Vanderwall is an American singer whose first internet debut was on America's Got Talent in 2016 when she was just 12, and she actually won the show. This was also Daniel's first encounter and the start of a very dangerous obsession. Daniel's dangerous obsession is a long and windy road of delusions, one-sided relationships, predatory behavior. Where do I start? Daniel had an obsession with her since he was 17 years old and she was 12. His obsession with Grace began when he saw her perform on America's Got Talent while watching the show with his grandmother, Nancy. Ever since that fateful night, he's had an unhealthy obsession, despite Grace being underage for the majority of it. Ever since his infatuation with her started, he convinced himself that he was a part of her life. This imagined relationship progressed rapidly due to Daniel's delusion.
If you know the singer Grace Vanderwall,
I don't.
Okay, so she was on America's Got Talent, and she was a winner of the show. I'm an upcoming singer, and we are going to end up dating.
Which were encouraged more and more by his managers and trolls, and those even pretending to be Grace. Over time, Daniel's posts regarding her on his different accounts grew increasingly explicit and disturbing. In many of these posts, Daniel would talk in graphic detail about his sexual fantasies regarding the underage girl, describing the various inappropriate acts that he would like to do with this young girl.
Grace, I want to drink your pee. Grace, I would love to put my into your and go in and out. In
some cases, his obsession has even grown into hate, with Daniel wanting to take her life and threatening her, even having breakdowns over his parasocial relationship with her.
You are a bitch, Grace. You are a liar. You are a liar, and you should go to
Beginning on the 12th of May 2021, Daniel claimed that he and Grace had some sort of collaborations in the works that would be coming out soon. In a later post to TikTok, Daniel claimed that he and Grace had begun dating, which we all know clearly isn't true, but his fans continued to egg him on. Things escalated quickly from here, with Daniel recording himself on several occasions telling strangers on the streets that he was dating Grace Vanderwall. More disturbingly, Daniel recorded multiple videos of himself moaning and whispering in a sensual manner for Grace's viewing pleasure, and I'ma play it for your own viewing pleasure too.
This message is for Grace.
Daniel, fully aware of Grace's age, claimed, and I quote, he would wait until Grace is 18. His relationship status changed depending on his delusion. One day he was in a romantic and loving relationship with the minor. The next he was in a sexual relationship. If romantic, he claims that Grace is his girlfriend. If sexual, he explains the various explicit sexual acts that he would like to do with her. Daniel holds Grace in particularly high regard, like extremely high, maybe a bit too high. Posts made by Grace on TikTok or Instagram would be filled to the brim with comments from Daniel, as if they were having a conversation in real time. Daniel would mention Grace in his TikTok videos, tag her, which resulted in our notifications being filled up with nothing but Daniel. He did this on almost every TikTok account he had, to the point where one of Daniel's TikTok accounts was actually suspended for his constant harassment towards her. Daniel has had multiple delusions of Grace being in harm, in the hospital, or even dying. These were most likely fed to him by the trolls. The Like Meltdown. The Like Meltdown, also known as the Rest in Peace Dave and Grace Vanderwall, occurring on the 25th of June 2021, is one of Daniel's most infamous incidents. The meltdown, unlike many others, is not one whole video. Instead, is a combination of a series of videos and live streams on the platform Like, a video posting platform which Daniel used because of his ban on TikTok, and a YouTube video titled Rest in Peace Dave and Grace Vanderwall. At the start of the video, Daniel attempts to reach out to his current management. Remember, these are people who have influence over his wild behavior, not his actual caretakers or managers that help look after Daniel, and most notably the Vanderwall team, before eventually slipping into a mental breakdown as he was convinced by the trolls that Grace had died and that the Vanderwall team was withholding information from him.
Hello, this is Daniel Larson. Please let me know if there's anything I could do to help. Please ask the Vanderwall team what I need to do to help.
However, things took a sharp turn as Daniel began frantically asking to be let back on the team, whilst threatening his own life.
I'm currently under attack. Please, please, please. I'm currently under attack. You need to let me on the team now. I don't know what to do. Please let me on the team.
He also cried hysterically, apologizing for minors and sending Grace, or whoever he thought was Grace, pictures of his no-no parts. He promised to repent for the bad choices he had made and honor her legacy. Daniel also starts blaming an unknown individual, only known as JP, and a caretaker for all of this. After this live stream, Daniel posted to his TikTok admitting that Grace was one of the minors he had supposedly seen. Daniel admitted that he had minors, 13-year-olds and 12-year-olds. His video would then end with Daniel saying that he planned to move on by not doing things such as this anymore and putting in the work to become a better person for her, especially after Grace's death.
This message goes out to the Vanderwall family and Grace Vanderwall for the funeral. I have minors, 13 years old, well, I'm going to be honest, 12 years old, all the way up to 18 years old. Grace Vanderwall was one of them. I also sent a dick pic to Grace Vanderwall. When she came and tried to rescue me from the situation and tried to collab, I then went behind her back and went on social media platforms that she did not want me on. She now gave me so many chances that she doesn't know if she could give me another chance, and that this is why this situation went down. Moving forward, I plan to be a better person, and I plan to not go behind people's backs and not be a
Daniel apologizing for his sordid behavior and repenting was a good thing, right? Well, kinda, but this moment of regret quickly faded as Daniel soon discovered that Grace had not in fact died, and thus resumed his regular obsessive posting about her and her in private DMs, or who we believed to be Grace Vanderwall. Are you still with me? Daniel had another freakout on the 24th of July, and in this freakout, Daniel believed that Grace was being attacked by a black guy named Tyrone, claiming that he had just shot Grace Vanderwall in the abdomen and shoulder. Following this, Daniel's community tab was filled with paranoia as he believed that Grace Vanderwall was in critical condition and was still alive in the hospital while Tyrone sought to kill her. During his delusion, Daniel believed that Tyrone was shooting up the hospital Grace was staying at, and it got to the point where there was a standoff. Oh, and Daniel attempted to trek from Colorado to New York to go see Grace Vanderwall, which is 1,787 miles apart from each other, and Daniel attempted to walk the full way. While in contact with Daniel, another account claiming to be Grace told him that she had just had sex with another man. Daniel, fueled by his delusion, rage and obsession with Grace Vanderwall, decided to hike from Colorado to New York in an attempt to win her back, documenting his entire failed trip on TikTok. In these TikTok, Daniel claimed that he had officially fucked up with Grace to the point that she had broken up with him. In a rare moment of clarity, Daniel said that Grace was her own person and that she could date whoever she wanted to, but it seemed Daniel didn't actually believe what he said as he carried on trekking. Daniel's reason for attempting to go to New York was to win back Grace's love from whomever she was apparently having sex with. He tried to guilt trip her in some of these videos by saying he had a heart disease from heartbreak and details about how hard his childhood was. As the TikTok live stream goes on, Daniel stays up through the entire night, to the point where you could actually see the sun rising in the video.
Hello everyone, this is Daniel Larson, and I have some breaking news. I have officially fucked up to Grace Vanderwall. I have officially screwed things up. Because of all the manipulation from the past and past management, I did not believe the real Grace now. The real Grace Vanderwall, and she's ending up breaking up with me. One thing I've learned out of this situation right now with me and Grace Vanderwall is the entire world is a big world. It's a hard world. And there's so many people that try to bring you down. But at the same time, You are your own person. Like, Grace is her own guardian. It's her choice if she wants to date me or not. She gave me the chance. She gave me all she's got. And at the time, it wasn't right for me. And I, for the first time in my life, let her down.
Determined to win Grace's heart, he continues to make wild claims during the walk, along with some karaoke. The walk ended with Daniel returning to Denver as he either got too tired, which I don't blame him, or he learned that the Grace he had been speaking to was not in fact Grace. And if you think this is the end of the Grace saga, you're wrong, we got some more. On the 24th of July 2023, Daniel became convinced that Grace Vanderwall, who he still believed was dating him up until this point, had broken up with him as things were moving too slow, and she got together with Jacob Sartorius, the cringy Musical.ly guy. Daniel would soon believe that Jacob had got Grace pregnant, so he ordered her assassination by Tyrone, the same guy that shut up her hospital. Stay with me, stay with me. At the same time, Daniel's story regarding Jacob rapidly changed, at one point claiming that Jacob was harassing him and then Grace. This eventually culminated into Daniel throwing his dinner into a river because of his anger at Grace dating Jacob instead of him. Daniel's dangerous obsession eventually caused Tina Vanderwall, Grace's mother, to message him on July 25th, 2022. Tina, through Instagram, demanded that Daniel stop making contact with her and her family, especially her daughter, calling out his mental illness and delusions. Tina then claimed to be in contact with the police, and if Daniel refused to stop making these videos and post about Grace, she would make the issue a legal matter and get Daniel arrested. Daniel responded to her message by stating that he understands and, more importantly, will be taking his own life that night, and most likely threaten his life to guilt trip her or gain some extra attention, which didn't work. Daniel posted multiple videos crying and or apologizing to the Vanderwall family, continuously addressing the allegations against him. However, Daniel fluctuated between admitting to his misdeeds to pretending that they never happened at all, and they were all just rumors and not true. Following her messages, Tina made a comment on one of Daniel's lives, begging him to stop his obsessive posting. Upon receiving this message, Daniel kept on pressing Tina with responses, asking her questions, which Tina responded with a post. Daniel responded to these posts by asking for even more forgiveness, claiming that things got fucked up because of his past friendships and that he is misunderstood. However, he did not receive another response from Tina, and as of 2024, that was the last verbal exchange from the two. Sometime in 2021, Daniel texted a number who claimed to be Grace Vanderwall, and in these texts, Grace claimed that she was at the White House getting sexually assaulted by her father, along with being impregnated by multiple other people. Daniel believed this to be true, like he believed everything else people told him, responding by attempting to convince Grace to move out to Denver, where he resided at the time, so that she could press charges on her father and live with Daniel, and they could live happily ever after. The messages started off with Daniel genuinely caring for Grace's well-being, asking what he could do to help. The messages then took a darker turn as Daniel proceeded to ask Grace what it felt like to be raped and what she thought about during it. Absolutely desperate to imagine Grace performing intercourse, he claimed to have asked these questions so he could use the information in court, although this is obviously not true. The fake Grace would then go on to say to Daniel that it was being recorded and uploaded to some 18+ websites. Daniel wanted to know where he could find the footage, and after this, Daniel went on to make multiple videos claiming that he had called the police to deal with this matter, and considering his past behaviors and history of wasting emergency services, he likely did call the authorities.
When I called the police, they told me that the White House they cannot go into. So the police cannot go into the White House, and it's up to the Secret Service. When I messaged Grace, she said that the Secret Service is currently with her and they're letting this happen. So it's more of a government issue, and Grace is currently saying that at this point we don't know what we're doing. We really, to be honest, don't.
On June 16th, 2023, Reddit user UTMZ News posted a video of Grace Vanderwall's Instagram account, so her most recent post was a video addressing Daniel. The video was clearly AI. A 5-year-old child can clearly tell this video is AI. In the video, Grace urges Daniel to leave her and her family alone.
This is a message to Daniel Larson. Please leave me and my family alone. You are not in contact with me and have never been.
TMZ News then went on to post screenshots of message between him and Tina Vanderwall, where Tina claims the videos were taken down due to Grace's lawyers advising them to do so. These messages were obviously fake. Daniel actually addressed the video in a community post on his YouTube page. His panicked reaction made it apparent that he had not seen through the fake post and had fallen for another one of his troll's elaborate pranks. While Daniel himself had not had contact with Grace, on June 21st, 2023, TMZ News actually reached out to Grace to ask if she knew who Daniel was and if she had ever been in contact with him. Grace actually told him that she had never been in contact with Daniel and never plans to be in contact with him, as she also stated her hatred for him and desire for him to leave her alone. The Grace Vanderwall arc still goes on to this day, and Daniel still has a one-sided relationship with the girl, and I kind of feel bad for her because when you look up her name, there's always something to do with Daniel Larson lurking. During Daniel's past arcs and his whole Grace Vanderwall situation, Daniel also went homeless around the end of 2021 when he ran away from his caretaker Jonas under the belief that he was being abused by him. Daniel was actually able to survive being homeless for a while through illegal means such as dine and dashing, which is when you eat at a restaurant then you run before you have to pay. Daniel didn't have much when he was homeless really, just his phone, which he charged at restaurants and other public places, and sometimes he even resorted to trespassing and charging it on people's lawns if he couldn't find anywhere else to charge his phone, because without his phone he couldn't document his extravagant lives to his fans. The events leading up to his homeless era occurred after Daniel was put into another group home, living with a host named Jonas and a roommate Gavin, but this wasn't a stable environment, even causing Daniel to believe he was being poisoned with mustard in his macaroni cheese. Daniel then fled from the house as he couldn't take the chaos, which was mostly caused by him. Daniel's running away was mostly influenced by trolls and his managers, as they told him that Grace was in Colorado Springs and Daniel had 24 hours to get there from Denver if he wanted to be with her. Daniel being homeless, as you can expect, had negative consequences on his health and well-being, with him not being able to shower regularly and not having a change of clothes. His homeless arcs had brief endings when he found temporary housing. One of his brief endings was when Daniel was approached by Brink, which was the name of a TikTok account run by two teenage boys who were his fans. Brink took Daniel out for meals, bathing and a haircut, which made him look more presentable in public again. Daniel was then introduced to Twitch by Oaks, a Discord user in Daniel's Discord. Through Twitch, he was able to receive donations, which allowed him to get hotels or Airbnbs. However, Daniel didn't stream on Twitch for too long, and while he was streaming on Twitch, his housing situation was far from stable. During this time, he also broke his phone during a heated argument with his mentor. However, Daniel never actually specified who his mentor was, but usually when Daniel refers to his mentor, it's either Bob or a Bob impersonator.
I just had to spend $300 on this tablet that I currently have. So my bank account is only at $15. I'm going to be honest about something. As far as the phone from earlier today, like I said, I'm currently using a tablet that doesn't have a phone. I basically got angry. I was in a conversation with my mentor, and we were...
Daniel was also provided housing when on the 27th of July 2022, Daniel visited the DDRC, which stands for Development Disability Resource Center, in an attempt to obtain housing, and explained his court situation. And on August 31st, 2022, he was placed into a home. But only a few days after moving in, he had already started to cause damage and trouble to the house, so he was eventually kicked out of his housing on October 16th, 2022, and he received a $1,000 citation due to the property damage. On the 19th of October, Daniel spent some time with his new friend at Dave & Buster's, and the next day on October 2020, after spending the night in a hotel, they brought Daniel up to Colorado Springs. However, the fans realized that Daniel was too much trouble and actually left him at a Walgreens, and Daniel was forced to walk all the way back to Denver. He made it to Monument, Colorado before being picked up by fans that night. Daniel also refused to go to homeless shelters because he thought he was too famous for them. Speaking of traveling, it's time to take a road trip with Daniel. Pack your bags because we're taking a road trip with Daniel Larson himself in the arc known as the Travel Arc. This is a period of time where Daniel traveled to multiple states following his departure from Las Vegas. Oh, we're already here. Everybody get out, single file line. The first stop is Phoenix. Daniel arrived in Phoenix, Arizona on March 18th, 2023 during an unspecified time frame after taking a bus from Las Vegas, Nevada. The first video that he uploaded after his arrival was a Cash App shoutout after receiving donations from some of his viewers. Throughout the day, Daniel would upload more shoutouts regarding donations, including ones thanking Ariana Grande for a $70 donation. Daniel also uploaded multiple videos of him rapping about his travels and his new location. Later that day, Daniel would post another video saying he needed $20 more before he could be headed to Arizona. He would then post again later that day, showing himself in what appears to be a train. In the video, it appears to be nighttime and Daniel does not specify where the train is headed. All aboard! The next stop is Tucson! Okay guys, no pushing, single file line, everyone get out, let's see what Daniel's doing. Daniel arrived in Tucson, Arizona on March 19th after taking a bus from Phoenix that morning. Similar to his trip in Phoenix, Daniel did not plan on staying long, indicating that he would be traveling to El Paso, Texas after arriving in Tucson. Daniel gave an update to his fans regarding his finances. According to Daniel, he had $50 in his savings account and minus $40 in his checking account. So he then posted another video requesting $150 from his viewers so he could travel to El Paso, Texas. While in Tucson, Daniel interacted with many strangers, some of whom we can assume are his viewers or his trolls. Daniel would post multiple selfies throughout his time in Tucson with these strangers. Daniel would post videos of himself dancing with some of his fans and later post on his community tab saying that his meal was free as some fans paid for his meal. The next stop is Benson. On March 21st, Daniel uploaded a video in which he was walking down the side of a road. In this video, Daniel explained some things that had happened to him recently. Although Daniel never stated the town he was in, some users in his subreddit were able to find where he was based off a video he had recorded. In this prior video, Daniel was at a veteran memorial which members of the subreddit found on Google Maps. The memorial was in Benson, Arizona, approximately 50 miles southeast of his last location. The next stop in our journey is El Paso. Early in the morning on March 22nd, Daniel posted a video where he was in a parking garage. He explains that he got on the wrong bus and instead of going to Roswell, New Mexico as he had intended, he ended up in El Paso, Texas. But it turned out that his trip had a negative turn of events, as Daniel posted on his YouTube community page about a person named C who was supposedly threatening him. Another situation that happened in El Paso occurred when Daniel was inside of a restaurant. Daniel was doing fine, thanking donors and announcing his album that would release in 2025, as well as announcing that the following morning he was going to go to Houston, Texas. But then out of nowhere, he posted a video saying he was dealing with the police. Daniel stated that someone basically doxed him, calling the police to the restaurant that he was in. He repeatedly told the police that someone was trolling him. He said the call was done by a troll who was aware of his notoriety for dying and dashing. Daniel then clarified that his tab was fully paid in a follow-up video, but the situation didn't get too out of hand because the police actually let Daniel go, and he even claimed that he left a $50 tip because of what happened. The next morning, Daniel uploaded a video from inside a tent, probably the same tent he was given at his last location, which he had slept in for multiple nights. In the video, he stated that he needed new shoes, showing off his torn pairs of shoes, and a little later he uploaded another video boarding a bus. The next day on March 23rd, he stayed at El Paso for a couple more days. Then he traveled to Big Spring on the 24th until the 28th of March. He then stayed at Sweetwater, Texas for a day, moving on to San Antonio where he slept at the Greyhound station for a night, then making his way to Houston, Texas where he got kicked out of the bus station. He then remained in Houston until the 31st of March and spent a great deal of his time in Dave & Buster's, which he was also eventually kicked out of due to calls from trolls who actually located him. That night, Daniel started a live stream while walking through the park next to the zoo. He began getting phone calls from multiple numbers. Most of these callers were trollers and they made threats towards Daniel's life. This is really the end of the road trip, as one of Daniel's managers, including I Wish I Had a Dad, aided him in buying a plane ticket to New York City, where Daniel continued his ventures. But his main motivation for venturing to New York City was to meet up with Tina and Grace Vanderwall, because one of his trolls actually told him that they wanted to see him. Daniel arrived at New York around 12 o'clock on the 4th of April as he uploaded multiple videos confirming his arrival. During his time in New York, Daniel was spotted by many of his fans, and his fans actually noted his whereabouts, tracking Daniel as he traveled through New York City. Like every other irrelevant celebrities, and I use the word celebrity loosely, Daniel created an account on the platform Cameo on the 31st of May 2023 as another way of making money aside from e-begging. To be honest, this is a pretty good idea. His account was called Daniel Larson Superstar, and he promoted his Cameo on his YouTube community page page, the videos Daniel made for his orders, as we can expect, were very low in quality. He would frequently mispronounce words and at times not even follow the direction given to him. The initial price for Daniel's Cameo started at $20.99 before quickly going up to $24.99 and then going up to $59.99, then reportedly as high as $85, but he did eventually lower the price as he started to get less customers. But then he quickly raised the price back up to $50 on June 16th, 2023. Later on June 18th, Daniel raised the price again tenfold to $500. In another post in his community page, Daniel wrote, "I just had to change the price for the Cameo due to the current situation and legal crap. To go along with the cost of the Cameo itself, there's also a $99 booking fee, thus bringing the total of the Cameo to $599. $599. That's the price of a PS5, Spider-Man, and pre-ordering GTA 6. And some people were paying that for a Daniel Larson Cameo." Later that same day, Daniel raised the price for a single Cameo to $830. While taking into consideration the $99 booking fee, it would cost almost $1,000 for a Cameo from Daniel Larson. However, Daniel lowered it several times throughout the day, but at one point he raised it to $1,069 before bringing the price down again to $900. But if we also add in the $99 fee, that's $1,000. The next day on June 19th, price was brought back down to $50, though it was soon increased to $100 again. Daniel really couldn't decide what price he wanted to make his Cameo. On June 27th, Daniel lowered the price to $10 and on the same day uploaded a video thanking everyone for the support and stating that he made $5,000 in the past week. But it seemed the Cameo arc was pretty successful as he made a lot of money, but his Cameo arc eventually came to an end as he was eventually suspended on the 16th of August 2023 for supposedly scamming his fans. And Larson also adopted a dog too. On July 9th, 2023, Daniel Larson adopted a dog from Longmont Humane Society in Longmont, Colorado, which he then named Music, formerly Zola. Daniel's reasoning for adopting this dog was his one and furthermore delusion for security. He repeatedly claimed Music to be a guard dog when in reality, Music was a regular house pet with no guarding capabilities. Daniel's announcement for the adoption sparked a lot of outrage in his audience actually, because Daniel can't even look after himself, so how the hell is he actually gonna look after a dog? It also seemed Daniel was a man of taste as he acquired the cold boozy fade. The reverse mohawk or reverse mohawk arc refers to a period of time when Daniel's hair was cut by trolls, resulting in this. On October 23rd, 2023, Daniel received a haircut from a duo of trolls, one who he refers to as his assistant. The haircut began with scissors, but eventually progressed to a razor, leaving Daniel with what I call a boozy fade or reverse mohawk. As Daniel uploaded more videos, the haircut progressively got worse, and he ended up with the coolest haircut I've ever seen. As we reached the temporary end of Daniel's fascinating story, it seems Daniel's misdeeds and scandalous behavior eventually caught up to him, as on January 3rd, 2024, Daniel was finally arrested. But for what, I hear you ask? Evasion of justice. On February 3rd, 2024, Daniel Larson was arrested for evasion of justice and placed into Arapahoe County Jail after repeatedly not showing up to court. This being in violation of the terms of his PR bond, ended up getting multiple warrants put out for his arrest, which eventually led to him being arrested. But unlike his previous arrest, the court had started to crack down on him after his several failures to appear, putting him in jail with a $20,000 bond. Since his arrest, there have been many attempts to bail Daniel out of jail, attempts to make contact with him via phone calls. However, these attempts were unsuccessful. Daniel went live early in the day of February 3rd, but just before the live stream ended, he claimed that a cop car went around the block 3 times looking for Daniel. However, he wasn't worried since he hadn't done anything bad. Abruptly, he said he's got to go into lockdown and the stream ended. This could have been chalked up to a simple delusion, but soon after, someone on the R Daniel Larson subreddit claimed that Daniel got arrested whilst on the phone with Clark, his then manager. There's also been body cam footage released of Daniel being arrested. It's also speculated that the authorities are planning to make a case out of Daniel Larson's various threats, public outbursts, and potential pedophilia.
That has been the fascinating story of Daniel Larson. This was one of the craziest videos I've ever made, and I've had to put in so much time into research. But if you guys have made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching the video. Also, don't forget to let me know of any other lolcows you know about that I could potentially make a video on. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you've watched to the end of the video and you're not liking the video or subscribing, then what are you doing? But also, thank you so much for watching the video, and have a great morning, afternoon, or evening. I'll see you later.
You get those warrants and everything taken care of, and then we'll see you out here again, okay?
Okay.
All right, brother.
I
Hey.
was aware of the warrants.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
just been staying at a hotel
Okay.
on this end of town,
I got you.
and I am, because I'm like self-employed.
Okay.
I didn't have enough money
No, that's okay.
to the court,
Gotcha.
and all of my paperwork and all of my stuff is at the hotel.